This is the AB4WS radio show. Every week, bringing you the exciting amateur radio news and information happening in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana areas.
The AB4WS radio show can be found on the Apple Podcast app or your favorite podcast application. This week, KA4USA released an amateur radio balloon in the Lexington, Kentucky area. The balloon at the time of this recording was last seen in North Carolina. Follow the balloon's progress with your favorite APRS tracking site like APRS.FI and search for KA4USA-3. The last several days, the Magic Band, yes, 6 meters, has been open. So turn on those 6-meter rigs and see what contacts you can make. And remember, if everybody is listening and nobody is transmitting, you'll never know when the band is open. So key that mic, slap that key, and put out some transmissions. And you'll be amazed at what you can work on the Magic Band. At the recent Morehead Amateur Radio Society meeting, Justin, KY0KSP, gave a great presentation on how to link all computers together using N3JFP software, commonly used by many groups for field day logging. This was very educational and gets the Morehead Club ready for field day this year. Amateur radio volunteers are needed for the annual 4th of July parade in Northside, Ohio. The parade is a very long tradition and is very well attended. Communication support is needed from about 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is another great opportunity for you to utilize your ham radio skills, abilities, and equipment to serve the public good. If you're interested in helping out, reach out to W8SM at kevin.tribbe@gmail.com. Sad to report that Donnie Conover, N8PPW of Beaver Creek, Ohio, has become a silent key. Our thoughts and prayers to his family and friends. The MONIX group had a successful meeting at the Holscher Park at the Northern Kentucky Greater Cincinnati International Airport and decided to merge future meetings at this time to the second Saturday of each month. They'll try to rotate the venue to allow interested attendees to make it regardless of their geographical location. Listen out for the location of the July meeting, possibly at the Radio Range Park in Indian Hill. If you have suggestions for a meeting or location, reach out to Rod, KJ4IAM, or Dave Williams. Many Northern Kentucky hams have lamented on not being able to attend any of the Northern Kentucky Ham Radio Lunch Group lunches on Tuesdays at Skyline Chili's because they are busy working. Well, the new officers of the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club, listening to the members, decided to once a month have a Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club breakfast meetup. First one will be on June 15th at 9 a.m. at the Stringtown Bar and Grill, 255 Main Street in Florence, Kentucky. They invite anyone interested in ham radio to come on out and join them for breakfast. Tune in to the 146.670 Okayan Amateur Radio Club repeater with a PL tone of 123.0 on June 16th at 7 p.m. for the newcomer in Elmers net with Robert K4PKM, who will be talking all about that Feedline you use to connect your radio to your antenna. On June 17th at 7 p.m., the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will meet at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. Mark Volstead, AI4BJ, will be telling us all about the wonderful world of amateur radio contesting. On July 17th at 5 p.m. Central Time at the Logan County Public Library, 225 Armory Drive in Russellville, Kentucky, the Logan County Amateur Radio Club will have a presentation by Corey Page and Rodney Adler explaining ham radio and answering questions about it. They'll also talk about their upcoming field day activities. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine has proclaimed June 22nd and 23rd as Amateur Radio Operators Appreciation Days in the state of Ohio to celebrate this year's ARRL Field Day exercise. Many of the clubs and groups are getting their Field Day event organized for June 22nd and 23rd, and the Okayan Amateur Radio Society is certainly one of them. They will be moving to a new location this year and getting everything planned out for this new location. They plan to return to Mitchell next year. If you're interested in joining the Okayan Amateur Radio Field Day group, reach out to Eric, N8YC, who is organizing the event. The Bluegrass Amateur Radio Society will be setting up at the Hobb Farm Park, 3551 Briar Hill Road in Lexington, Kentucky. The Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will host a field day at the Lincoln Ridge Park in Independence, Kentucky. Field day coordinator Michael KA4PLM is collecting information on resources and volunteers for field day. If you're interested in NKARC field day, go to k4co.org and sign up. The Stubblefield Repeater Club, KF4UTJ, will be holding their field day at the Red Orchard Park, 7 704 Kentucky Street in Shelbyville, Kentucky. They invite everyone to come out and get on the air at their Get on the Air station. For more information, go to StubbleFieldRepeaterClub.org. The Milford Amateur Radio Club will hold their field day at the Klepper Pike Pavilion A on Summerside Road, operating from 2 p.m. on Saturday until dusk when the park closes. For more field day locations, check out ARRL Field Day Locator at ARRL.org. Listen out for that annual special event that we all like to work. Yes, the 13 Colonies special event will run July 1st through July 8th, where each of the original 13 colonies will have special call signs to present on the air, along with 3 additional bonus stations representing Great Britain, France, and Philadelphia. They'll be operating all bands except 60 meters on all modes, including sideband, CW, RTTY, and digital modes. For more information on how to collect that collector's QSL certificate, go to 13colonies.us. On July 13th, the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association is again serving the community by providing communications for the upcoming Connect Community Village 5K Walk and Run event, which will take place in downtown Somerset, starting around 9 a.m. and ending around 11 a.m. They're looking for volunteers to assist with communications for the event. If you can help out, contact Mike, KD6FTR. On July 27th, the Dave Kalter Memorial Youth DX Adventure will operate a special event station using the call sign K3Y, operating the K3LR contesting station, and will participate in the RSGB IOTA contest as youth operators. Listen out for them and give them a QSO. A great event to volunteer for is Paddlefest, where amateur radio operators provide communications for safety and logistics for the big Paddlefest event on the Ohio River. This year, Paddlefest will be held on August 3rd, 2024. There'll be positions both on the river and on the shore. If you would like to volunteer for this fun event, email Rick, KD4PYR at KD4PYR@ARRL.net. The Murray State University Amateur Radio Club, K4MSU, announced the particulars on this year's 5th anniversary Kentucky Parks on the Air contest to be held on August 10, 2024 from 1400 hours UTC to 2200 hours UTC. For the particular modes, bands, rules, and all the other important information, go to k4msu.com/KYPOTA. The Air Force Marathon is looking for a few good hams to volunteer to provide communications assistance for the event on Saturday, September 21st, in the area of the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. For more information or to volunteer, email Bob, N8ADO, at afm.hams@gmail.com.
Repeater news.
Some of us old-timers remember the 1980s and early 90s when there was a wide-area linked UHF repeater system put up by Mark Tanner, originally KC4COV, now N8OXA, that covered all the northern Kentucky area and most of Cincinnati with 4 individual UHF repeaters, one in Florence, one in Beaver Lick, one in Cincinnati, and one east of Cincinnati. You would tune your radio to the closest UHF repeater, and it was linked to others to cover this wide area. Well, recently, we discovered that the antenna and hardline were still on the tower in Florence. A small group of people started to work to check it out and obtain permission to install a new UHF repeater on the old Florence frequency of 444.175. And today, this new repeater went on the air thanks to the work of Mark Tanner, N8OXA. The repeater is analog and DMR. For analog, program your radio to 444.175 plus 5 megahertz offset with a PL tone of 131.8. Might be a good idea to program that tone squelch of 131.8 as well to keep the digital noise from breaking your squelch if someone is on digital. For DMR, it is not network. And program color code 2 for the repeater with time slot 1 supporting talk group 300 and time slot 2 supporting talk group 301. I was able to get into the repeater full quieting on an HT from Central Park, and the repeater was full scale to me as well. I was able to be heard on the repeater from Big Bone on the 50-watt base, but was hearing the repeater right at the noise level. So program your radios for this great repeater and send your coverage reports to us here at ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Hamfests.
July 20th is the second annual Northeast Ohio Amateur Radio Roundup from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Harry Meschel Picnic Area at the Lake Milton State Park, 590 Milton Avenue in Milton, Ohio. They'll have presentations on POTA, antenna building and experimenting, show and tell, and other amateur radio topics. They'll have a fox hunt at 2 p.m. On July 20th is the third annual Ashtabula Hamfest at the Pioneer Picnic, 1809 Middle Road in Pierpoint, Ohio. Talking on the 146.895 repeater with a PL of 141.3. On July 21st is the Van Wert Hamfest at the Van Wert County Fairgrounds, 1055 South Washington Street in Van Wert, Ohio. For more information, go to w8fy.org. August 3rd is the Columbus, Ohio Hamfest at the Aladdin Shrine Center, 1801 Gateway Circle in Grove City, Ohio. August 10th is the Cincinnati Hamfest at the Claremont County Fairgrounds in Owensville, Ohio. For more information, see milfordhamradio.org. August 18th is the Warren Hamfest at the Trumbull County Fairgrounds, 899 Everett Hall Road in Cortland, Ohio. Talking on 146.970 repeater.
Are you looking to upgrade your license? Do you have someone else that's interested in the hobby? Here are some upcoming exam opportunities.
The Milford Amateur Radio Club holds amateur radio testing on the third Thursday of each month at 6 p.m. at the Miami Township Civic Center, 6101 Meyer Drive in Milford, Ohio. Please pre-register at milfordhamradio.org. The Dayton Amateur Radio Association has exams frequently. For their exam schedule, email exams.w8bi@gmail.com. On June 17th, the Northern Kentucky Amateur Radio Club will host an amateur radio exam session at 5:30 p.m. at the Bethesda Community Church, 989 East Mount Zion Road in Independence, Kentucky. You must register by emailing Mark Volstead, AI4BJ at MVOLSTAD@twc.com. On June 25th at 6 p.m., the amateur radio testing session will be held at Anderson County Extension Building. Use the rear entrance, lower level, 1026 County Park Road in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. For more information, contact Brian Carter, KA4TLW at 502-545-0376. On July 13th, the Westchester Amateur Radio Association will hold an amateur radio exam session at 10 a.m. at the Voice of America Museum, 8070 Tylersville Road in Westchester, Ohio. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions/WC8VOA. On July 13th at 10 a.m., an amateur radio exam session will be held at the Clark County Emergency Operations Center, 200 Maryland Drive in Winchester, Kentucky. Please pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions/AC4YD. For more information, contact Daryl Epperson, AC4YD at 859-771-1834. On July 23rd at 6 p.m., an amateur radio testing session will be held at the Anderson County Extension Building. Use the rear entrance, lower level, 1026 County Park Road in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. For more information, contact Brian Carter, KI4TLW at 502-545-0376. On Saturday, July 27th at 10 a.m., the Wilderness Road Amateur Radio Club will sponsor an amateur radio license exam session at the American Legion post number 46, 45 Spears Lane in Danville, Kentucky. Pre-register at hamstudy.org/sessions. For more information, contact Harold Miller, AF6MB at 541-602-6535. Special thanks to this week's content contributors, W4IOD, KE4WA, KY4GW, WB8WYS, KD8ZLD, K9HIO, N8LAR, K4NKU.
If you have something you think other amateur radio operators in the area would be interested in, send the information or your recorded audio file attached in an email to ab4ws.radio@gmail.com.
Covering your amateur radio news and information in the greater Cincinnati, Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana tri-state area. This is Jack Prindle, AB4WS in Big Bone, Kentucky.